forward. Because we do want to be able to send this to everybody. So let me just say welcome again. This is a panel discussion as part of our Becoming a Coach series. And for the Life Mentoring School Coach Certification Program, we're so thankful you're here, either in person, virtually live with us, or on the replay. We are fast approaching enrollment for the February 2024 class. And we are so excited about that. Make sure you save the date for next Friday, which is October 13th at noon. We are going to, I'm doing a masterclass, a webinar that day. It's our final webinar in the Becoming a Coach series. And the focus of that one is going to be on the Christian aspect of our program, the pillars of the faith that kind of undergird our program, which we've never really dove into before. So I'm excited about that. But we also have some really special enrollment bonuses that are going to be announced that day. And you do need to be present live unless you're on our VIP list to take advantage of those. So next Friday at noon Eastern, can't wait for that. And then next Tuesday, we are going to have another panel discussion from some of our students and talk a little more about the business side. And all different aspects of building the business. So, you know, from our Angela, who has had incredible results building her business pretty fast, to people who decidedly just want to do it a little slower and do it in a different way. So we're going to have lots of fun on that call too. Before we start, I do want to just give just a little bit of a quick introduction to myself and to our program, in case you got on the wait list and you're like, okay, lady, who are you? But I am the founder of Life Mentoring School and the founder of Life Mentoring School Coach Certification. And it really is the only program of its kind that combines the most potent coaching tools available with the power and promise of the ancient scriptures in order to help women overcome their programmed negative beliefs and patterns. And we do this, we're really passionate about what we do because we help women find emotional freedom, the emotional and mental resilience that they crave. And our framework and foundation is so designed that it really does foster healing at such a deep cognitive, emotional, and spiritual level. And I really feel like our program, we are just on a mission to train a new kind of coach. A coach that is trained holistically, that knows her worth and value and the worth and value of the clients she coaches, a coach that helps clients trust their own wisdom to find powerful solutions so that they can really unlock their potential. And so many of these things is what makes our program so special. But I will tell you something. I would say the number one thing we did not expect when we started this program was how powerful the community would be that formed around this program. We really curate with each class the most brilliant, loving, nurturing, encouraging, creative, insightful women that I personally have ever met. I feel like the result of this program is obviously that you become a life coach, and that process is life-changing in and of itself. But it's so much more than that, because the community that has formed around this program is unlike anything I've ever seen. And we wanted to highlight that today, to give you a little taste of that today. I feel like really what we do is we remind women of their magic, and doing what we do, becoming a coach and coaching women and helping women in this way is one of the most rewarding things I've ever been a part of. So I want to introduce you to some of our coaches who've gone through the program. And I want to cover, we're going to talk about several aspects of the community that we've formed here. And I think there are several different ways that you can build community. I want to touch on even things like the live event, where all the coaches at our live event, all of our coaches gathered for a luncheon. That was like an incredible time together. We divide our training into cohorts. And so amazing community forms in the cohorts. I feel like after coach training, then we all come together in a Facebook group where we're all together, and then we're on coaching calls all together. So there's a certain amount of community there. And then community that our people just form outside of the formal things that we have set up for them. And so because it has become such a cornerstone of our program, and I think such a benefit to being in our program, I just wanted to really highlight all the ways that such powerful community has formed around this program. So I want to introduce to you, we have several of our coaches with us, and I'm so excited for you to meet them.
Jill and Susan are both here. If you want to bring them on, I can't do it.
Yay. Jill said she is here, but she does not have video.
I think she just means that she's not on.
Oh, okay. Let's see. And then Susan is here. Perfect. Yay. So we have more sweetie pies to join us. Okay. So I don't know how everybody else sees them on their screen, but I'm just going to let everybody give a quick introduction, maybe which class of coach training that you were in, and tell us a little bit about what the experience has meant to you. And then we're going to dive in, like after that, we're going to dive into the specific pieces of the community that is formed. So let's start with Carrie Hunt.
Hello, hello. My name's Carrie. I'm so happy to be here. And I could probably talk the whole hour. So about how much I love this and how much it's changed my life. And I went from homeschool mama whose kids all basically flew the coop to what am I going to do? And so I jumped into the very first class of certification. And I thought I would probably just use it to learn the tools more, to just make everything I've learned in life mentoring school just like mine and deeper. And then who knew? Now I've got this beautiful coaching practice that I love. I get to work here for life mentoring school, and the friends. That's been the biggest surprise of all, the community.
Amazing. I love that, Carrie. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Carrie is one of our encounter group coaches and now trains in our coaches in the coach certification program. So you'll get to meet her when you join us. And then we have our dear Angela, our OG coach. Tell us all about you, Miss Angela.
I don't know what you want to know. Let's see. I was in the first class of life mentoring school, certified coaching, and I only did it because Dr. Edie said, you're going to do it, right? And I was like, okay, yes, yes,
okay, yes, I am.
Yes, okay, I will. And I had no, grand ideas about what it might be like. I did find it really challenging, and in the best sort of way, it just really brought out, I think, the best of me. And then one of our other friends in my cohort said, so you're going to take clients, right? And I was like, oh, I don't know about, she was like, you should take, I was like, okay, well, I'll try it and see. And so then I took clients, and I love coaching so much. It is such good, sacred work. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. And so I keep a full practice myself while I'm working at life mentoring school. So I love it. It has changed. It's just like brought everything together for me. Like, it's such good work. I've been doing it without any tools, winging it for all my life. People come to me and tell me all their things. And I didn't really have any good tools, but I would help them, best I could. And so anyway, it's just brought together this beautiful place where I can minister to people, really, but just in a way where I actually have tools and all of that. And I just love it so much. And I have made some of the very best friends I've ever had in this program. And so it's just been a beautiful thing to watch. So
I love that. And I love, Angela, your story is really awesome because you did this and still do it working full time for us. And I think a lot of people look at their circumstances and go, well, I work, so I don't know if I have time to do that. Yes, you do, because Angela made that work and still makes it work while working. And, you have a lot of flexibility, but I think you can definitely make it work. All right. Thank you for that. Then we have our sweet Katie Martin. Katie has kind of a different story too, because if you can't tell from her, gorgeous self, she's a lot younger than the rest of us. So I love having our young coaches. We have a handful of young coaches, and they bless my heart so much. I'm so jealous that they're not jealous, so happy for them that they're learning these tools so early. Kind of jealous, but also mostly happy for them that they're learning these tools so early. And Katie, you have an awesome story too of how you kind of been doing this already with your role in the sorority. So tell us about you and your experience.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Katie. I also actually work for Life Mentoring School now, which is like amazing and definitely came from getting to do coach certification. It's like a dream. But for a very long time, probably all of my life, because I'm the oldest of a bunch of kids, I have always felt a little bit like a coach or like a mentor. And through college, I held a lot of like leadership positions in my sorority. And then after college, they asked if I would want to come back to be an advisor to those women. So I spend a lot of time with college-aged girls, and I love them so dearly. And I see a lot of just potential in that age group and that generation. And they're kind of like my ministry as well. And I love them so, so, so much. So I felt for a long time like I was already doing kind of the life coaching thing for them, walking them through some stuff, like all of that. And then when life coach certification got presented as an option, I was like, this is a thing. Like, this is a real thing. Like, you can actually do this as a job. That's awesome, because the advising position I have for the sorority is all volunteer work. So that's awesome. That's like kind of my service that I do. But I was like, you could do this as a job. So then I went through certification and I was like, oh, wow, there are some major tools here. It changed my life at this age. I'm 25. It definitely changed my life. And getting to use those tools with those girls is actually, I'm like literally watching them. Their faces just completely change. Like they're like so into it. And actually last night I got my first client, my first ever client. She's in college. Yes, she's wonderful. I'm so excited. I just opened up to taking them. So I'm like so thrilled because I just can't wait to like actually get the one-on-one time to be like, this is everything I've learned in the past year. Please take it, use it, tell everybody about it, because that's how I feel about certification. It's been such a gift to me. So I'm just really thankful. But yeah, that's kind of how I use it now.
That is so awesome. I'm so happy for you and them.
Yes. Yeah.
So amazing. And Katie, by the way, was a mentor to my daughter. So it definitely means a lot to me that she had someone in her life that was older and that she could look up to. And yeah, so, and they went through certification together. So super special.
Yes.
All right, Miss Deanna, tell us. Hi.
Can you guys hear me okay?
You're a little, try one more time.
Yeah, I'm a little fuzzy. I could finish it, but it's also to log off and log on. And you guys started breaking up, and I'm wondering if I'm having issues.
Perfect. We'll come back to you. All right, Miss Susan.
Oh my goodness. Coaching has changed my life, your coaching. And then going through coach certification, when you offered that, I was like, well, of course, Dr. Edie's offering it. I'm going to do it, thinking that it was just, for my own healing. And then I went through the first round of coach certification and then got put in cohort 1 and met a fabulous group of women that have just enriched my life so much. And I'm just constantly pinching myself that I'm 67, that God had this plan for me all along. I had no idea. I'm just so thankful. And like the other girls, I love, love, love coaching, and it is the perfect part-time gig for me. I'm able to coach the number of people that I decided that I can coach, and I can still play pickleball twice a week and help with my grandbabies and schlep meals to the field and do the things that I need to do and just be in love with my life at this age. So many women aren't in love with their life at 67, and I am. And just this morning, I've been texting with my cohort buddies and, planning. It's just amazing. I'm just so thankful.
Oh, that's so awesome, Miss Susan. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Miss Jill.
Well, hey. So my name is Jill. I did the first round and I wasn't looking to become a coach, but when that was offered, it was like the job I wanted to do when I went off to college, but I didn't. And I just couldn't miss it. So what I think what's been so fun about it, I'm 54, I have one child left at home, but I homeschooled my kids. So I feel like I already had my first career, kind of that dream job of raising children and homeschooling them. And so as I've been trying to figure out what do I do with the second half of my life, I had started down this path of I'm going to be an interior designer. And then the coach certification came along and I thought, well, I can't miss that either, because that's the other thing I want to be when I grow up. And it's amazing how just doing that, it makes everything else we're doing so much richer. So I feel like, a lot of our job with adult children now is not the physical caring, but the coaching them in their lives, being that person with some wisdom, the person that's available to help them with their thinking. So that role is so much richer for all the coaching tools. And then the interior design, I feel like I was doing interior design, but still wanting to like coach people along, like coach women about the atmosphere in their home, the way they were raising their children, and are they using their gifts and bringing their whole self to their home, because that's the most important thing. And so I feel like the coach certification has now made all the other things I'm doing in this second half of my life so much richer and so much deeper. So I am doing some coaching. I get to work a little bit for Life Mentoring School, which is a dream. And I'm so grateful that I did it. It's just made life so much deeper and richer and better in every way.
Oh, that's such a great way to put it. I totally agree too, Jill. That's the way I feel. It's just made everything richer.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the program itself is a 14-week program where you watch a training from me every week. It's a kind of a deep dive into similar topics that we cover in Life Mentoring School, but a deep dive into those topics. I think where the real magic is, though, is when you break off into your cohorts and you have a trained coach that kind of helps you implement what you're learning. And then, of course, outside of those cohorts, eventually we add you to a Facebook group. There's a community there. We have ongoing support for our coaches with a coaching call every month. There's community there. At our live event, nothing quite like our live event to see just the fleshing out of what we've witnessed over the last year in the cohorts that have been through the training, and to see them meet each other for the first time. I get to meet a lot of them for the first time as they graduate, and there's just something so precious about that. So maybe I'll just go through each of you and just speak to any of the community aspect of our program. Because I think, honestly, for almost everyone that I've asked, they knew that the training itself would be transformational. They knew that they would go deeper in the topics. There's a lot of it that you can kind of anticipate. I don't think the community aspect is something that anybody anticipated originally. And I will say that I was in a coach training program that had no community aspect. Now, I will say that it's not required. If you're a serious introvert and you just want to come and that's not something that you need in your life, you can still get trained and love your program. And, none of it's required for you to come to the live event or for you to form these lifetime friendships with people in your class or in your cohort. But I will say that it is a resounding comment that we just hear over and over and over again, that, wow, the training was amazing, but this encouragement, this community is is really something else. So, Carrie, tell us a little bit about what that aspect has meant to you.
Sure. And I think one of the most amazing things are the breakout weeks where you're with a coach instructor and you get coached on real live things. So that was also a surprise to me, that I would get so much good coaching from my fellow cohort members. And the other benefit to that is that you go deep because you bring real live things.
Yeah.
Right. And they coach you on it and you get connected. And I found that my cohort often knew what was going on in my life, like the real deep things more than even my neighbor or my sister even, or right. Because you go really, really deep.
I love that. And I think that is something that, I mean, I think people do expect like, oh, we're going to practice coaching together, but I don't think what people anticipate is, no, we're going to coach you on the real things going on in your life. And that probably is part of the reason why. I mean, when you go deep with people, there is a bond that forms there. You start to cheer for them. You start to know them intimately as you're coaching them, as you're watching them get coached by, your classmates. So yeah, really good point that part of it, I think, is invaluable. And part of the reason I think why people do get such amazing transformation themselves in their own lives in the program. Angela, what would you say if you had to pick like an aspect of the community or something that has really meant a lot to you from the community? What would you?
I mean, I agree with Carrie. I think it's really interesting because, like, I'll be honest, like, Susan is in my cohort. I don't know the names of her children, but I could tell you if she's had issues with one of them. Right? So it's like, it's kind of this interesting type of friendship or this interesting type of connection that we have. Like, that we are almost like a resource for one another. Like, if we need coaching, like if I need a friend, I probably got some friends that I can call on the phone, right? But if I need somebody to really talk me through a situation, I'm going to call the people in my cohort.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because I want some good, solid coaching, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know. I think it's just a different kind of friendship that we have because we do go just like straight to the deep end. I don't necessarily know the names of all their kids and all the things, but I do know like what they're, what's going on with them a lot of times. And so,
kind of their deepest issues.
Yeah. And so
the
it's
things that really matter.
right. The things that really matter. And it was nice to have a safe place to, as Anna was saying, it was nice for me to have a safe place to do that, especially because I work here.
Yeah.
Because it was nice to have like this group of people that I could have a safe place to share with, since I do work for a life mentoring school, so it was helpful for me. But I think everybody found that. Like it was a safe place to practice, to be a beginner. Like when we're coaching at first and we don't know what we're doing and we just kind of really are awkward, it was a safe place to be a beginner. And it was, and it's continued to be that safe place. So I think that is such a good point, that it is a safe place to be a beginner, to practice, to, even we do meet with an instructor every other week, and then on the other week you meet just with amongst yourselves and practice with each other. And I think just that idea of having a safe place to say, okay, I'm doing this implementation that we have this week and I'm having trouble with these 25 feelings, do you have a suggestion? I just think that is that kind of support. It's almost like a resource that we have that we didn't have before, which I think is so valuable.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah. So you graduate from coach training and you intimately know 10 life coaches that now are friends, a resource to you, someone that you trust, that knows you. Yeah. Like that in and of itself is crazy. Like I think to myself how much my life has been enriched by being just surrounded by people that use these tools, have had this training, kind of speak the same language in a way. So valuable. Deanna is back. Let's see if we can hear you better. Introduce yourself and tell us about your journey a little bit, Miss Deanna.
Is that a little better?
It is still it's still breaking up. Are you on your phone this time?
Try that. I'm on my phone this time. Is that better?
Oh, that's better. Yes.
Yeah. I think it's a sign that I need to buy a new laptop is what I think it is.
That's it.
So sorry about the technical difficulties. So I'm Deanna, and I am
a coach from the newest class. I was lucky enough to have someone else on the call in my cohort. Like, how lucky was I to have Katie in my cohort? She's amazing. Amazing.
Oh,
I just adore her. I adore my entire cohort. They are wonderful. So my backstory was I was before this a really busy, hard-charging, hard-working corporate executive who literally worked herself into an illness, had a stroke while driving a car, was overweight, unhappy, all that stuff. And through meeting you and learning about what you do, I started to take better care of myself and take responsibility for myself. That's one of the biggest things I think I learned becoming a coach is I'm responsible. It's not everybody else's fault, right? I'm responsible.
yeah.
So learning that first, I really think the coaching program is for us first to learn about ourselves and to heal so that we can help heal others. Because I've been coaching my entire executive career and I thought I knew what I was doing. This is a whole nother level. I mean, it's so much deeper, I think, and so much more impactful because it affects your whole life, not just your work or your career, but your whole life.
Yeah.
And as far as the cohort goes, we started meeting again just recently, and one-on-one, there's been a lot of really close friendships made. And like what Angela was saying, I feel like I can pick up the phone anytime I have something really deep I need to bounce off someone. And
Yes.
another relationship you develop. So I'm such a fan, and I'm one of the few who doesn't work for LMS, but it doesn't matter because I would volunteer for LMS because it's amazing. It's life-changing.
Oh, thank you, Deanna.
You're
That is
welcome.
so awesome. Miss Katie, tell us about one aspect of the community. I'm sure you did have a little bit of a different experience because you young girls, I mean, I feel like we all just adore you and look up to you. I noticed at the live event, I mean, you couldn't even tell the difference because y'all are just in there with us, enjoying yourselves and hanging out. So, what was that like for you?
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit different than I think some of the other members of LMS experience, which I actually love and realized that I needed really badly. So I was like in a place where I was really pouring into a lot of people and I wasn't really letting anybody pour into me. I wasn't even seeking it out. Like I didn't even think it was something that I really needed. And when I joined certification, I was nervous because I was like, what am I going to have in common with these women? Like, what are we going to even talk about? And it like turns out we have all the same things to talk about and we have everything still in common. Like there is no gap there for me when it comes to connection. If anything, it just feels stronger because the kind of people that sign up for coach certification aren't let me just say they're like the best kind of people. So they definitely never ever saw us as like, why would I let you coach me? You're younger, you don't have the experience. Because turns out those were just my own thoughts about coaching women that were a little bit older than me. So it was definitely like, it surprised me in the best way. It was better than I could have imagined, better than I could have ever thought. And then at the live event, getting to meet everybody in person, I'd never been to Love is Magic. So I was like, I actually literally had no expectation, no clue for what I was getting into. And I got there and I was like, these women can get down. They love to be here. They love each other. And so many people were stopping me and they were like, thank you for doing this at your age. We need more women in their 20s coaching. And I was like, you're welcome. Like I had no clue the amount that they just like love and pour into so many people that, I mean, women I didn't even know were just like, thank you. And I was like, for what? They were like, for coaching in your 20s. And I was like, you're welcome. So just being there, I just want to say, like, if you're younger and you're thinking about doing certification, but you're thinking that there's some kind of gap with connection or age demographic or whatever it is, it's so irrelevant. It really is. Like, it's so irrelevant. And I've made some of the best relationships I know in my life through doing it. So yeah.
Amazing. I felt that way too. I'm like, you can't even, I mean, if there's anything that will bridge a generation gap, it's coaching. I love it. All right, Miss Susan, what for you? You did touch on, you guys have a magical cohort. I think part of it too is that you've had longer, you were in the first class, so you've had longer than most people to develop these relationships. but it is really, really beautiful to watch. So what part of the community aspect do you think has been, most transformational for you?
I'll say, I think maybe three things. First of all, when we started our coach certification and we had our first breakout session where we were actually coaching one another, that's when it first hit me that we're going to be talking about our real issues.
Our real issues.
We're not just going to be bringing
This
fluff.
isn't just practice, like pretend you have an issue you want to get coached on. No.
I thought that's what was going to happen, but that wasn't it. So we learned to be vulnerable and teachable and how to receive. And there's something so powerful about being with women who, when they experience, or maybe this is just me, but when you experience like jealousy or a little envy or like I don't belong, instead of just believing it, we don't believe it. We question it and we're curious about it. And we decide why am I feeling jealous?
Yes.
And do I want to feel that way? No, turns out I don't. So we're constantly dealing with our stuff. So as you get healthier and healthier, even though this is going to be a lifetime pursuit, I realize that.
Yeah.
Healed women are magical.
Yes. Okay. That is a mic drop. Yes. Yes.
So I think that was something I wanted to say. And then the second thing was about encounter groups. And oh my gosh, those are amazing. Such powerful work is happening in encounter groups. And I notice in the groups that I get to lead, more and more of the certified coaches are coming to those groups.
Oh,
and
nice.
That changes everything too, because we're not in it for the hiding, for the showing what we are. We're in it for getting what, we're coming to receive.
Doing the actual work. Yeah.
Yeah, for doing the work. So I think that's really important. And then Love is Magic. Oh my goodness. I've gotten to come to three of your events. And so I was at the first one and knew just hardly anybody.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful. It was, a different group than I've ever been in. And then the next year was a little bit better. But this year was like, probably because I've done so much work myself, but everybody is so welcoming and it's just so fun.
So fun.
So fun.
It is
so good.
So fun.
The teaching is amazing, but getting to know these women who love Jesus too from all over the world. Don't you have some people? I don't know if we had anybody from Canada. I think we did.
Yeah.
It just helps you see what God's up to. And I want to be a part of it. And I'm thankful that I am.
I love that. So good. Jill, tell us what have you experienced in the community? Any of the community aspect of it that has been transformational for you?
Yeah, I was imagining that it could feel intimidating. Like I'm going to join this coach certification. There might be women in there that are really professional coaches, or who am I to do this? And I think what we have to remember is that it's a very kind of almost like you've been in a funnel. It's like Christian women who have decided to pursue personal growth, who have invested in themselves by joining LMS, who have already been learning things, who've now invested more to be in a position to know more and be healthier and to serve. And so you're coming alongside like in a group of women that might be in different seasons of life. They might be very different personalities, but they're the same kind of person who's doing this kind of new thing, whether they're at the beginning of their life, like Katie, or like many of us in midlife, we've probably already done a career or raised our children. And so there's not very many women in midlife who will do something brand new, right? That they're not good at yet. And so you're all of a sudden you're in this group, but it's not an intimidating group because you're all kind of in it together. Like, what am I doing?
What am I
And
doing
there's
here?
so much, there's so much camaraderie around that. And so much, I think, built-in respect for each other, that we're all doing something kind of daring that our neighbor does not understand. And our sister is wondering what it is. So there's just
Yes.
automatically built-in respect. And so your cohort may not end up becoming your very best friends, but they're definitely not going to be people you feel uncomfortable with. And you really are going to get whatever you want to get from it. So my cohort was wonderful. We weren't the kind that are now going to go on, all 10 of us, on a retreat every year, but we're definitely staying in touch. And it was such a wonderful, safe place to land. And it's like when you are raising your children and everyone's little, you'll never make friends like those days, it feels like, when you're in the trenches. But this is like, you're in the trenches. And you get to have that kind of, that kind of friendship is built, and that respect is built. And so whether we keep in touch often or very seldom, we go right back to the deep end. And that's pretty rare.
Yeah. And I feel like, I love that you said that. And I've been thinking about this too, because, I'm obsessed with the hero's journey, and LMS is based on the hero's journey. So the hero faces his demons, faces the obstacles in order that he can bring his gifts to the community. But the ultimate goal is that the hero becomes a guide. Now, you don't have to become a coach to become a guide, obviously, but it's also a pretty natural progression in our program, that if you feel that nudging, like, oh my gosh, I love this so much, that you put yourself, again, kind of in harm's way, that you do something challenging that most of your friends are not doing at this stage of life. And that journey, I think, is, I dare say, even more transformational than maybe your first time through LMS. Like, it's a level deeper. It's confronting even more of the things that might be holding you back. It's definitely putting yourself in a position where you're a beginner again, even if you have been coaching a while. The tools that we teach are a little different. So it's like making yourself a beginner, humbling yourself. And you're right. I think just that posture puts us in this space of of a place where we can just have such beautiful connection, because we don't have any walls up. We're not comparing ourselves. We're just, excited to be at this stage of life doing something this exciting, actually.
And you're transformed before it ever begins, because you've taken the big step of investing money and time in yourself and believing that you're worth it and that it's going to make a big difference. So good. I love that so much. Carrie, did you already go? Did you tell us?
I did already go, but can I just add, like, this is literally, it's the most inspiring work. It just is. Like, sometimes Scott will come home at the end of the day, and what was the best part of your day? And it was that session with that client where I clicked on, and she saw my face and she started crying because she'd had something bad happen at work, and she was making it mean all kinds of things about her. And turns out there was so much more that was true there, that just in the coaching session, she remembered. Right.
Yeah.
4 sessions later. So she's 26, a young dynamo, soon to be engaged. And she said at the end, I think I want to be a coach. I think that's what I want to do with my next stage. And so I've got another client who's already signed up for the next certification, like these young, and she's 24. Like this thing could explode. Like Katie, you are the leader of, this is just amazing. This thing could explode to reach college age, young 20s, young 30s. We can all look back and think, oh, I wish I'd had this, right?
Yes.
They do. And we were part of bringing that to them. Like, that's incredible.
So amazing, Carrie. I love that so much. Alicia asked, have any of you ever felt like it was hard to go deep into your real life stuff? Like, I do think that surprises people, that, like, everybody's like, yes. Angela, you had both hands. You want to speak to that?
Well, when we first started out, we recorded our sessions because we wanted to rewatch them. And I had some thoughts about the fact that I work here. I always have that thing. I work here.
I shouldn't have any problems.
I shouldn't have any problems. I work here. I'm not going to share anything, too vulnerable. And like one of the coaches, I was being the client, and one of the coaches was practicing coaching me, and she said something to me, and I burst into tears. And the first thing I said was, "Oh my God, we're recording this." And I said, "I work here." And Susan said, "We'll turn it off. We'll turn it off. We'll turn it off." She turned it off. We never recorded another session ever because I had a total freak out.
Total meltdown.
That I was crying and I work here, or whatever. So yes, the answer is double hands. Yes, I had a total panic attack about actually sharing and in front of all these people. But the good news is that it was so good for me to not have to be put together and the strong one in my life. And I've got it all to, like it was good for me to see that I could be vulnerable. It was really a growth that I could be vulnerable and these people could hold space for me, which is what we learn to do as coaches. They could hold space for my vulnerability, even if I was so terribly uncomfortable. And
Angela, to that point, I learned this in my, however long I coached with Meg, it was really tough for me to go back to being the client after having been the coach for a long time. But I'm going to tell you something. Nothing has made me a better coach more than being willing to be the most honest, vulnerable client.
Absolutely. I mean, I would 100% agree with that. There is something, we know this now, but we think in our head that vulnerability is weakness and that we just have to be strong. As women, we have this thing, we got to be strong for our kids and we got to be strong for our parents and we got to be strong. And yes, we should be strong, but vulnerability does not mean that we're weak. And
no, it makes us stronger too.
It makes us stronger and more resilient. And one of the reasons we can't bounce back a lot of time is there's no elastic because we're hard as a rock, and we won't allow ourselves to feel our feelings. So yes, I think it is such a growth point to put yourself in, because part of your certification is you're going to put yourself in the place of a client.
Yes.
And I think that is such good growth for us as coaches to be a client. I totally agree with that.
Love that so much. Deanna, do you have something to add to that?
Sure. So you can hear me. So it's so interesting, the whole vulnerability piece and the worthiness. You mentioned worthiness earlier. I was just listening to a podcast about worthiness and how there's a stat out there now that 80% of women don't think they're worthy. I'm like, that is just frightening. That is frightening. That is instilled in us at such a young age. But then I realized, oh, wait, I'm one of those people. And I lost, much like Angela, I lost it completely during one of our very last cohort coaching sessions. I'll never forget it. And I'll never forget what an amazing job Angela did. When I couldn't get my website done. Like that was the most important thing, was to get the website done, not the coaching certification itself, not the tools. And I beat myself up for weeks about it and lost it in my cohort. Like I have not lost it in a really long time. And what she uncovered was it wasn't really about the website, right? So it's those kind of things and those kind of moments of being vulnerable that you take forward with you and realize, you know what, you're so lucky to be in this program, because there's a lot of coaching programs out there, but there's no community like this.
No, I totally agree. And I love that you shared that, because I think honestly, most people probably have had some experience like that. Like, oh, where you think you're going into something to kind of learn it, but you don't realize that the surgery is going to first be on you. And then we're going to teach you the skills to help other people with the tools. But listen, you guys, otherwise, honestly, most people would not have that kind of growth. They wouldn't put themselves in that kind of situation to have that kind of growth. And I think what's so awesome about it, and to your point too, Angela, is that we think we have to have some perfect kind of life once we're coaches. no, your life is going to be the same. You're going to have all the same challenges, maybe more. You're going to have circumstances that come up that feel impossible and hard. It's just that now you have incredible tools. And it's, we say this all the time, but we're not trying to get you to be superhumans. We're trying to get you to express your full humanity and welcome all the parts of you to the party instead of trying to put up some sort of whitewashed version of, this is me kind of hiding all the flaws or hiding the vulnerabilities. And I think that our program probably, more than any that I have been a part of or seen myself, really creates safety for that this is a soft place to land where you can share all of that, and we will hold space, and we will still see your best self and see how God is putting all of those pieces together to help you become everything you could become. I feel like I still sometimes struggle with that, but when we had our team meeting, it's a whole group of coaches. I started the meeting and just like cried and let them coach me and love on me and hold space for me for stuff that I was going through. And I think if you're willing to do that, you get so much more out of it than trying to present some sort of perfect version of yourself that already knows how to coach, and that, no, just come like, I'm a student. I'm going to humble myself. I'm going to be a beginner again. Like, that is the posture that it takes. And I think that takes courage, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I will say too, just something Susan said. I think you said it in a post that I read, or maybe in an email that you sent out. This isn't like holding hands and singing Kumbaya. We're not going to leave you there.
Right.
We're also not going to leave you in your pile of tears.
Yeah.
We are also going to we love you. Like, we'll create a safe enough space that you can absolutely be in a pile of tears. And then we're going to, give you the tools.
We love you too much to leave you there. Yeah.
We're not going to leave you there. Like, it's a group of people that will also tell you the truth. Right.
Yeah.
And bring you, call out that highest version of yourself. Right. So, I think it's such a good balance of both.
And to what Deanna said, and kind of going off of Anna's comment, I love what you said, Anna. I want to rip off the many masks I've created for myself. Most women are going through life with so many masks, living from ego, not living as their true, authentic selves because of that worthiness piece that you mentioned, Deanna, because so many feel unworthy. So they feel like, well, if I project this, if I wear this mask, I'll be more worthy. They'll accept me. I won't be rejected. And all of that. And so we have learned to wear the masks. And what we're going to help you do is take all those off, because you will be such a more powerful coach when you learn not to wear them, because then you can recognize that in your client and help them live more as their authentic true self. So I really do believe that it's one of the most powerful training programs in the world. Obviously, we train life coaches who change the world. I look at the work that all of our coaches are doing and I go, wow, like, it is insane how much transformation they have been willing to undergo themselves so that they could be part of the solution. Listen, we live in a world where people are suffering more than they ever have, and we can be part of that solution. And we are committed to teaching you tools and skills that help you relieve that suffering. People just want to feel better and they don't know how. And we can equip you with tools that really help you do that. So anyways, does anybody have anything they want to share before we go? This has been so incredible to hear from all of you. I love you so much. I'm so grateful for the work that you're doing in the world.
Just, you make it fun, Edie. You all make it fun. Yes, it's hard work, but it's also fun.
I love that you say that, because listen, I think if you take something that could feel very heavy and you find a way to bring joy and lightness and laughter and love to it, it's so doable. It makes something that could feel hard and heavy feel like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so amazing. I love that you said that, Deanna.
So, Dr. Edie, speaking of fun, after this, I'm getting on Zoom with Rachel Goff in Louisiana. I think she invited the whole cohort. We're making gumbo in each of our kitchens over Zoom.
Stop it.
So
Oh my
dinner
gosh.
done for tonight. I mean, this is just the best.
That needs to be applied. We all need gumbo lessons. That's a great idea.
I
Message
love
Rachel.
that.
She's amazing. Yeah.
I love that. And listen, even if fun is not your first language, we can teach you. Just ask Angela.
Listen, if you watch those reels, you know I am working on I'm a beginner level fun haver. Okay, beginner level, basic. I'm willing to be a beginner.
Rachel Goff, after
got it.
Katie posted, we're talking about my Instagram when we've been posting reels from our team retreat, and we made all of our coaches dance and all kinds of stuff for these reels. And Rachel Goff sent me a message and said, I can tell whose idea that wasn't. I'm like,
Yeah, it wasn't
it
mine.
was not Angela's idea.
No, but listen, my life is so much more fun now. I'm leaning into the fun. It's a process. It's
I
just
feel like you are.
better. Yes.
I feel like you are. I mean, if I do remember correctly, you did some pretty awesome karaoke with me, both at the live event. I mean, I serenaded you, but I feel like you were coming back with some good karaoke. So
yeah,
I
mean, as long as it's about, cheating and killing, I can karaoke with the best of them.
And it usually is. So that's great. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for taking time out to share today. And thank you for being here. Those of you who were here live, we'll send this out as a replay so that you can watch again. We love you so much. Can't wait to see you on October 13th. Mark your calendars. Enrollment bonuses announced that will not be announced otherwise unless you're a VIP with us. You want to be there live. Can't wait to see you. Can't wait to meet all of our new coaches that are going to enroll in this cohort or in this class. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.